Batwoman number 12, Margaret Bennett writing, Scott Goodlewski on art. So Margaret Bennett's back. She actually had a month off last issue. We had Kay Perkins for that one, Professor Pig story. This took us obviously more back into the main thrust of things, because this was a flashback issue. I mean, the first and last page were Batwoman on a plane, flying because she found out, Sophia's got after, your sister. You might save your sister. You can come here, but
you gotta go home.
But all the issue was the story finally, kind of, because we've heard about how she ruined the Coriana because she had infected everything, and how did she leave? How did that relationship end? We never really got that story until now, which is kind of what this issue was. And we see that she actually brought up let's say virus,
a bacteria.
Bacteria from the seabed when she got hit, and she got it's infected the plants and the flowers, and that's why things were dying. And but basically it all kind of amounted to Kate realizes what type of person Sophia is, because Sophia has someone killed, even though she knows
it had nothing to do. Yeah, Sophia knows.
Yep.
That this guy had nothing to do with the sickness, but to protect Kate, she does. And I'm just reading this. I'm kind of over Sophia as a character. Like, I'm ready for this to be done, to get on to other.
Yeah. Well, that's stuff. That was the thing. Not specifically Sophia, but Coriana as a whole, which I guess is the same thing because it's tied to Sophia. When I got past the first page and it started to be a flashback, and then after a few more pages, when I realised this is probably not ending, this is probably the whole issue is the flashback, I was like, okay, I'm kind of bored of Coriana now. I'm ready to move on with other stories.
Like you had the twins. Like, we haven't seen them in forever.
No.
I want to get back to that. Like, that's what I was enjoying, and Julia Pennyworth and all of that stuff. And I just feel like they dropped it because this, is what Bennett might find more interesting, which is cool. I mean, I like this relationship of her feeling like she stayed on Coriana because it was just a swap out for her drinking. This was the new thing.
Oh yeah, and that's kind of how the flashback kind of ends. She wants to leave because she realizes she's just replacing her addiction with an addiction to Sophia, and she's like, well, I'm not doing that anymore. And then Sophia is immediately like, hey, Naive, have her killed.
Yeah, and I kind of just like, so wait, this one relationship because Kate wanted to get away from her is the whole reason she destroyed Coriana, turned it into this, massive corporate state, and sold out to those twins. Like, I'm not following, It's a weird line to go.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm confused by that. I'll just say I'm not that interested by that.
Well, I guess that's I just mean, when I say confused, I mean, why?
Yeah.
From what we had seeded, I kind of want a bigger reason why. Like, Kate had completely upended the mercenaries or something, and they turned on her. And she kind of was just like, well, I need to change who I am. I don't know. This is probably the least interesting of the options.
Yeah. No, it was. I mean, it wasn't a bad issue. It was just kind of like it's still focused on this story that feels like it probably should have been done a while ago. And the one consolation, of course, is that it feels like it is coming to an end, because it feels like we're getting to the showdown in the next issue, maybe the next 2 issues, maybe total.
And I'm wondering if we will see her sister and the whole Wonderland thing, because I always like that. From that initial run.
I'm also wondering if the book changes any, depending if the changes in Detective Comics kind of like carry over in some way.
That's again, I'm much more interested in that version of Kate and her relationship with her dad, and what that means, what it means to be a soldier, I think, than this whole her lost year and whatnot. I don't know.
I mean, it was fun at first. Back at the start of the book, the first arc with Epting was like fine, but
because like you said, it's not exactly bad. I'm over it. Like, I want to move on. I want Kate to do other stuff.
Yeah, no. Hopefully we actually get some confrontations next issue, though, so that might actually be a lot more satisfying.
One more island. I don't want to see that island ever again.
Honestly, at this point, though, yes, Sophia has lost all of her interest, I think. I just don't care about her as a character. So hopefully they wrap this up relatively quickly and we can move back on to, Kate, with the other characters doing more interesting, because I really liked the last issue, because the last issue, which was mainly focused on Professor Pig and her relationship with Julia, was way more fun than than this.
I like how it was set up, and I know you have an aversion to James Bond, but I kind of like that she was kind of the James Bond of the Bat family. Like her and Julia could go around the world and have these escapades, and she's perfect for that because she was a soldier. She's mobile, and
I'm not
she doesn't need
opposed.
to be in Gotham with the rest of them.
Yeah, and I also think if she does leave the team, like this would be like, oh, she still has her own book, and that can be what that explains actually better why she is around, not in Gotham. She's going over the place, doing all these other missions, doing other things. So yeah,
exactly. So I like the potential of that, and so again, and that last issue was so much fun too. So coming off of that, going, oh, we're jumping right back in. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just
Actually, I think that's what made this one feel worse, is that we had, like, I mean, sure, it ended with the, okay, so she has to go and find her sister now, but it was mostly this standalone story about Professor Pig and, like, finding Julia and, like, hunting, doing detective work. It was really fun. And then this issue was like, oh, back to all that Sophia crap.